guys! Welcome back to my channel. And I have some new products that I wanted to share with you and kind of give you a first impressions on. You'll have to forgive me, I'm wearing my glasses because I don't have any more contact lenses left and I have to go to the eye doctor before they'll release a new prescription for me, so I can't order any contacts. So it's really hard for me to do my makeup right now because, or at least on video, because I'm so nearsighted and I have such bad vision that I'm literally like this with my mirror because I can't see. So I apologize for that. Anyway, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about this new, well, this fairly new to me brand. If any of you watch Jen Loves Reviews, or if you're part of her Facebook group at all, What's Up in Makeup, then you may have seen some mentions of this brand, and it's like this mysterious brand that's been popping up. And I found these at Ross, so I decided to buy what I could find and try them out for you guys. So this is the Paris Hilton collection, or at least many boxes of makeup here. So I have mascaras, there's 3 of them. There's a mascara trio, so there's lengthening, volumizing, and curling mascaras. And then I have the contour and blush collection. So this comes with blush, bronzer, illuminator, contour, colors, and a brush. So I'm interested to see what the brush looks like. And then I've got this metallic eyeshadow palette. So it does say that it's specifically metallic, so I'm going to have to borrow some shades from another palette to make this work for me today, but eager to try those out. And then finally, ooh, lips. These are liquid lipsticks, and it says it's a 10-piece metal and matte collection. So there's metals and mattes. So I'm not sure how these are going to work, but I will swatch them all for you. So let's get started with a makeup look using these products. So I'm first going to do my brows since I don't have a brow product here. I'm going to do my brows. I'm going to prime my lids using my Too Faced Shadow Assurance. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of BB cream because my skin needs a little help, and some concealer because I don't know if you can see this ugly dude here, right here, but this ugly dude needs to disappear on my face. So when I come back, you'll see a whole new me. So for my face, I used a mix between the L'Oreal Magic Skin Beautifier BB cream in both light and medium, and then over that I used my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC20 just to spot conceal and to kind of give a little bit of lightness to my face. And then over that I used my good old Airspun powder to kind of seal that in. Alright, I had to adjust some things with my lighting, so I apologize for that. And I have glitter on my face. Brilliant. I don't know where that glitter came from, but whatever. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to do the face just because I feel like doing the face first. So this is the contour and blush set. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of the packaging because these are pans within a plastic insert. I'm sure I can depot these and put them in some sort of palette of sorts, but just the thought of having to do that is kind of annoying. So these are the 3 contour shades, I'm assuming. There's no names or anything to these. So this one's light, medium, and dark. Today I'm going to go with medium because that will be a better fit. They seem to be all matte. Here are the swatches. So they actually seem to be really nice shades with a little bit of a satiny finish. Come to look at it, let's swatch those on my arm. That dark one's really pigmented. They're actually really soft. I really like the texture of these. Let's see how they blend. So they blend nicely, but they also stay in place. So that's promising. Okay, so these have some stay power. Yeah, so when they don't wipe away and the pigment's still there, as you can see right here, that little swatch there, that generally means that they have a good pigmentation. Alright, and then this is the blush, a bronzer, and an illuminizer. So again, let me wipe off my fingers. Okay, so these are very shimmery. Kind of reminds me of like Neapolitan, like strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. That pink's really pretty. And It's a shimmery blush, which I don't wear a lot of blushes anyway, but I think this will go really well with kind of the foundation look I have. The bronzer, I don't tend to wear shimmery bronzer unless it's the summertime and I just want a little touch of glow, and I'll use that instead of a highlighter. And the highlighter has a very coral, kind of pinkish, orangey hue to it. It's not white at all, which kind of throws me off because in the pan it looks like a muted mauve, but on my arm it comes off a little bit more pink. So that'll be an interesting luminizer. Not sure about that. I might have to mix the light contour powder on top just to give it some lightness. And then it also comes with a brush. Already I can see a few hairs coming off the edges. Interesting shaped brush. It kind of does this weird slanting thing. It's a soft brush. I really like that. But it'll be interesting given the shape. It feels pretty dense, so feel nice on the face. So let's go in with that medium contour shade. I see a little bit of shadow there, so that's good. And actually this medium shade doesn't look like it would be very pigmented on my skin tone just because it's so light in the pan, but this actually seems to work really well. You can see how light I am with my ears, so I'm going to put some on my ears. Because I blended a little bit of my BB cream onto my ears, but it didn't stick very well apparently. But so I'm not sure about this brush. It's super soft, but I don't feel like it's very precise. I don't know. I've been using this one instead for contour because it gives a very precise shape, and this one's from Wet n Wild and it has this ergonomic handle over here. You can see that little indentation. And this came out with one of their holiday collections, so I've been using that, but I'm going to try with this one. This has more of this cocoa color. Like, it looks very cool in the pan, but you can see it's a lot darker and more bronzy on me. I'm gonna wipe my brush off using my switch. If you don't have one of these, you totally should buy one. These are amazing. I just recently got it and it's been a lifesaver. Alright, so I'm gonna take a little bit of the bronzer here in the middle and just kind of tap this over. Very shimmery. Oh my gosh, that's very shimmery. It's a little too much. So I just barely tapped my brush in like that and just got a little color, and it was very pigmented. Now for the blush. I'm sure that's also going to be pretty pigmented. And it is. I always start here on the back of my cheeks and then blend downward. But because there's shimmer in this, I'm going to blend it up towards my cheekbones, because otherwise it's going to look a little odd. So I'm not getting a lot of pigment out of this. Like, not a lot of color for me. I feel like it's more shimmery. But it's pretty. Reminds me more of like a pink highlighter. Blending this out. And I tend to blend my blush up to the sides a little bit too, because I always get red and pink all the way up, and it would look really unnatural if I didn't add that there. I'm going to take this light color here and just add a little bit under my eyes. I'm sure this would be a great powder, so that's kind of what I'm going to use it for. More of a powder. That actually worked really well. It feels really soft. This is a little harsh for me, but I'm going to use a different brush just to soften all this out a little bit, if it can be. Well, I think it's pretty. I just think it's all shimmer except for the mattes. I do like these mattes. That medium color is very cocoa colored once it goes on the skin, which was so unexpected. I'm not disappointed by it. It's just very shimmery, so if shimmery is not your cup of tea, then you might not like it. Alright, so time for some fun swatches here. That top row, as you can see by the finger swatches, the colors are okay. They're not super pigmented, especially that gold one, but I do like the colors overall. I'm using a brush to swatch these on, no primer or anything. As you can see with the brush, the pigmentation is underwhelming. In between swatches, I'm using my switch to remove shadows just so that there's no bleeding of colors. But yeah, again, very underwhelming with this pigmentation. And again, the next row with the finger swatches. Because these are more metallic and shimmery types of shadows, they do tend to perform better with fingers versus a brush. But this row does have a few shadows that work okay with a brush, which was a little bit promising. But this pink shadow here is super powdery and just not very pigmented with a brush. But overall, these are okay. This row was a better selection. This final row here, also the same with the finger swatches. Some of them were really good, and then a couple were a little patchy, like this one. Back to the brush swatches, the darker ones seem to perform better than the lighter ones in terms of pigmentation, which I find funny because usually the darker ones tend to be more patchy, but yeah, these two bottom rows were okay, but again, not the best quality. Alright, so onward to the eyes. I am borrowing from a MAC Quad. This one, I'm going to be using Brulee and Charcoal Brown. So these two bottom colors. I'm going to skip the blue and the dark brown because I don't need those right now. They provided a duo-sided eyeshadow brush, but they're both flat. One's a little bit more dense than the other, but there's no blending. I don't really see much of a difference except for one's just slightly denser and thicker than the other. So I am going to borrow one of my new Wet n Wild brushes. So I'm going to take Brulee and just feather that on all over the lid. I'm trying to do this over my glasses, you guys, and it's not easy. Alright, I gotta take the glasses off. Told you guys I am so blind and I cannot wait to have LASIK. I'm going to take a little bit of the charcoal brown and just kind of tap a little bit here in the outer corner and into the crease, just to give a little bit of definition there because that also needs to be a matte shadow. I'm going to use a little bit of this darker purple here in the second row. Okay, it's very powdery, very powdery. It reminds me a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette in that kind of texture, but this is shimmery and just kind of a forewarning. So I'm going to pat this here on this outer corner. It's very pretty. Ooh, that is pretty. I actually like this color. And it's not coming off as shimmery as I thought it would be. It has some fallout, of course, but that's pretty. I'm going to use my finger to kind of feather that inward towards the center of the lid. That went into the crease a little bit on this side, so let me clean that up. And it does blend nicely, but it does kind of fade off when you blend it. Okay, now it's looking a little patchy. Let's see if I can fix that. I'm going to try applying it with my finger instead. I do like the color, I'm just not sure about the formula just yet. So the lighter purple looks much lighter in the pan, but it's got this silvery overspray, so it's actually almost the same color. So there's really not much of a difference there. So I'm not taking that lighter color because they're very similar. Then let's instead go to that pink shade right here. This looks really pretty and promising. Very powdery, and there's no real color payoff. Let's try with the finger. So on the finger it looks nice. Finger swatch, it's one of those really light colors that doesn't show up. So let's go to this frosty one in the center and see what happens there. Yeah, that one's very powdery and chunky and it just brushes right off, so that's disappointing. Alright, let's go with this, whatever, nope, that's more of them. I hate glitter oversprays. They drive me up the wall because you can never tell what the real color of these eyeshadows will be. To really dive into this one here and see what that is. This one's more of like a silvery pewter gray kind of color. I'm popping that on the lid. I do actually like the color of this too. I'm not 100% impressed with the formula. I find that fingers tend to blend a little bit better sometimes with shimmery shadows. It's not my favorite makeup look, but it's doable, I guess. Since they're all shimmers, it's really hard to pick a color, but in the inner corner, I'll use that shimmery pink color if I can get any color payoff. The matte shades, on the other hand, from that contour palette are really pigmented, and usually shimmers are easier to do, so I don't know what happened here. but I definitely like the contour shades a little bit better. I'm just going to go back to the contour shade palette and pop a little bit that. Yeah, that looks much better. And then blend. Oh geez, I have sparkle all over my face. Yeah, I definitely should not have done my foundation and stuff first. I should have skipped that. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for eyeshadow because I'm getting so much fallout. And there's not really a lot of looks I can do with these colors because they're turning out to be very silvery gray and lots of the same colors and nothing too dark. So it's not like I can really intensify the crease or the outer V area. But now let's just get rid of some of this fallout. Alright, so the set came with the Volumizing Mascara and a black eyeliner. I will definitely be using this eyeliner. It's a kohl pencil and it does come very sharp. So let's swatch here. Okay, there's good pigmentation. I barely touched my skin and it looks to be that you're able to smudge it out a little bit, so that's good. Alright, let's get to it. I like the texture of this because it's not too creamy, but it's not so thick that it drags across the skin so much, but it's just creamy enough that it gives pigmentation as it does it, and I prefer that over super creamy eyeliners because super creamy eyeliners are not as forgiving and they tend to bleed a little bit, whereas this one doesn't. It feels a little bit more waxy. So for me, that's a win. Okay, so here's where it skipped a little bit. So I'm going to have to pull my skin a little taut here, so it's going to be a little challenging. Okay, so I had to pause filming for a little bit because my memory card ran out. And so I've been wearing this this eyeliner for a good little while. I did notice that some of my eyeshadow has fallen down and has stuck to the underside of my eye. I've noticed this eyeliner is not the best for like the waterline because it's not creamy enough for that, unfortunately, but it is good for the upper lid and bottom lash line. It's not as pigmented on the waterline is what I meant to say. Alright, I'm going to try the mascara now. I'm going to use the volumizing one, and this is the wand. Nothing special about the wand, I will say, but it's supposed to volumize, so we'll see if it does that. It transferred up into my eyeshadow a little. So it's a wet mascara. And no, I did not curl my lashes beforehand because I never do. So why would I do it now just for this video? So far it's not a bad mascara. I can already tell that it's not my favorite, but my eyes are starting to water and I can't tell if it's from the eyeliner or mascara. So hopefully this kind of burning goes away. This side is building up quite a bit, which I do like, but I don't see a lot of volume. I see more length with this. So with volume, I assume that would mean thickening of the lashes and kind of letting them build up and be more of a fan, like false lashes, but I don't really see that with this. As I said, I see more lengthening than anything with this. This stuff smears. I'm not so great with not having my glasses. Oops. How did I just get it on my lip? Really? I had to get mascara on my lip. How did I do that with the wand? I won't say I'm 100% impressed with this mascara, but it works. Oh, there's little clumps at the end here. So I'm going to quickly, I still see quite a bit of mascara coming off. So I guess this just takes a little longer to dry than normal. Okay guys, I'm out of breath because I ran up the stairs. I'm actually heading out. I had a friend stop by, so I stopped filming mid video, but I wanted to quickly show you my eye makeup since it's been about an hour since I applied the makeup. So far, it looks pretty good. The liner's staying in place for the most part except under the bottom lash line. So for that, I'm actually just going to take a little smudgy brush and smudge that out because it doesn't look pretty. Hopefully by smudging it, it won't look so scary. And the mascara is holding up okay. I've lost some length and some of the volume in terms of the length volume, if that makes sense. So it's not my favorite mascara by far. I just got myself confused here because, okay, this is a volumizing mascara, but in the bigger collection, the lengthening mascara, they both come in black. So Volumizing Mascara in the full size, and then the deluxe sample wands are completely different between the two. So that's really odd. The wands are completely different between the two separate mascaras. So I'm thinking there must have been a misprint on here. Lengthening one is very similar to what I used for this one, only it's a little bit more narrow. And then the curling mascara has the curled wand. So that's interesting. I'll try these three out separately because the one I used was the one that came with the eyeshadow palette. For lips, there are 10 different shades. There are 5 metallic and 5 matte. I have so much shimmer on my lids, so I don't want any more shimmer. 5 colors here. Which one do I want to pick? Let's go with the nude shade. This kind of reminds me of an Anastasia Beverly Hills color. In applying it, it's very thin. It's slightly perfumed, but I taste it more. It has like a vanilla scent to it. And the dough tip is pretty stiff. It seems really easy to apply. And that's one swatch. No liner, no foundation, nothing on my lips. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more. Okay, so it does have a little bit of tackiness, but it's not sticky. Not like, okay, I take that back. You see how my lips are kind of peeling? This is not going to work. I don't know. It's a little sticky. But I like the color, and it applied pretty easily. So it doesn't say that it's supposed to be long lasting. It just says that it's matte lipstick. So we'll see if it's meant to be long lasting. God, I keep doing that. I'm going to come back later and tell you how this wears. And then I'm also going to do some swatches of the other colors. So I'm going to start out by swatching the matte liquid lipsticks first. I do find that these are fairly pigmented, including this light pink one, which I actually kind of like on myself. And they're very, very easy to remove using a makeup wipe. Another thing about this matte formula is that it's pretty consistent across all 5 mattes, in that they don't settle into your lips in a way that ages your lips. So that's a great plus. And even this purple plum lip color, a lot of times these types of shades turn out to be a little patchy, but this was not extremely patchy, although it was slightly uneven in some areas. These are considered lip glosses. I consider them to be liquid lipsticks as they dry down just like a liquid lipstick versus a lip gloss. I did find that some of the shades were not very opaque. The metallic qualities in these lip glosses or liquid lipsticks kind of dry down, and just like any other metallic lip shade, they do add more texture to your lips so they can age your mouth, which is no fun. I do like this shade. It's pretty, but it's not super opaque at all. I would assume that these are great for kind of a top coat in general, especially since they're not gritty at all and they apply pretty smoothly. Now this one was my least favorite out of all of the colors. At first it looked promising, but then I sheared it out a little bit and it turned this into this weird grayish, gross color on my lips, which does not look pretty. It's been about 5-6 hours since I applied my makeup earlier, and so far so good in terms of the eyeshadows. With me having slightly hooded eyes, eyeshadow, especially shimmery shadows, tend to migrate a little bit, and so far from what I can see, it hasn't really shifted, so they've stayed in place, which is great. I can't say the same for the eyeliner. Let me show you up close. Alright, so you see how the color is migrated down. It's turned into this purpley gray color. Yeah, not so pretty. And I smudged that out earlier, if you remember. Sadly, it didn't stay in place. But the wing is still in good shape. It's just that it's not good for the waterline, and it's definitely not good for under the lid for transfer. So the eyeliner is a no-go for me for that. It's good for the upper lash line. The mascara is holding up okay, but I've lost some of the curl length that came earlier, so that one again isn't spectacular to me. Eyeshadows, I like the colors. I do like that they've held out, but I don't like that a lot of the colors have that glitter overspray, and a lot of them look the same. The liquid lipstick I was wearing earlier is this kind of mauve toned color, and it's more in that cool purple shade, but it definitely doesn't translate that to that same color on the lips. It is held up, although it's still a little sticky, as you can see, for about an hour or two after applying it, and it finally kind of sunk into the lips. I had this weird scent or taste, kind of a mix between the two, and it was kind of funky. It was very plastic, metallic kind of scent, so I wasn't sure about it. A lot of liquid lipsticks dry down and get really flaky and chalky and dry. This does transfer a little bit, and it does like flake if you rub it. You can see how it kind of just flakes off, and then I have a little bit of color on my lips there, or on my finger there, my pointer finger. But for the most part, it stays in place, and it feels comfortable to wear. I don't feel like I'm wearing liquid lipstick that's super drying, and I don't feel like it shows off the lines in the worst light possible. You know, sometimes you wear a liquid lipstick and it looks kind of, ugh, like, oh girl, you look like you're 50 or 60 years old, not 20, 30 years old. So it ages you. I don't feel like this does that, at least this particular shade. And then finally, the contour and the blush and the bronzer and highlight colors, I feel like they've stayed pretty well. I see them, like there's still a bit of definition to my cheeks, and I still have a little bit of highlight here, as you can possibly see. I can't see in my viewfinder because I'm blind without my glasses, but I'm going to assume you can all see this. I really need LASIK. I cannot wait to get LASIK. But here we go. So, question, is it worth it? I think for the blush and contour set, I like the contour powders. The blush and the shimmery bronzer and highlighters, not so much. They're very shimmery, and for me, they're just not my cup of tea. But I really like the contour powders. I think they're really soft, and they're easy to blend, and they feel comfortable, and they don't seemingly oxidize or anything. In terms of the mascara, I'm going to try the other two. Actually, I'm going to try all three of these in separate video clips. Hi guys, so it's another day, and I'm doing a little bit more with this Paris Hilton collection. I'm wearing a different lip color today. It's this one that doesn't have a name, but it's a kind of a grown-up hot pink, which I really enjoy. I've done every piece of my makeup except for my mascara, so I'm going to show you my mascara. I'm also wearing more of the Paris Hilton eyeshadows, so I really like that gold shadow, and then I have that kind of reddish brown color in the crease with a little bit of pink blending it out up towards the brow bones. I'm going to try the other volumizing mascara that came in the mascara collection. It has the wider barrel on the wand. To be honest, the application isn't that much different between this one and the other, only this is just a little chunkier. And I feel like I have to be a little bit more careful with this. And I got a little bit of mascara on the other side of my lid where the eyeliner is. So I will say that with this mascara, I do feel as though it is a little bit thicker in some ways with the application, but the lengthening piece is not there as it was with the other one that I tried. I do feel like this does a little bit better job volumizing my lashes than the other one, but again, the lengthening piece isn't there, so I guess false lashes would be a thing, but I don't wear false lashes that often to really want to, put in the effort to add falsies to mascara when I can build it up using a mascara. It is a buildable mascara, but I feel like it is close to being clumpy. Alright, so it's another day, and I'm using the curling mascara. The shape of this wand makes it a little tough to maneuver, and I ended up getting mascara around my eyes and also on my eyelid through the lashes, which was kind of a pain. But all in all, I do see that that the results of this mascara were a little bit better than some of the other ones that I tried from the Paris Hilton collection. This is with one coat, and I decided to go back in to do a second coat just to see how that applied with the second layer, and I found that it actually did a really amazing job lifting my lashes up. I'm going to now use the Lengthening Mascara, which has your typical wand. I do like this Lengthening Mascara formula better than the one that comes in the smaller one. These two have the same type of wand. The volumizing one from that eyeshadow kit and then the lengthening one from the mascara kit. Here they are side by side. I do see some length to my lashes. I don't notice anything pronounced or truly amazing or astounding though, but I do see it working. One thing I've noticed in wearing the mascaras though is that after they dry, they tend to get this kind of like a latexy type of texture, especially when you remove it. So I was in the shower the other day washing my face and I had the curling mascara on my lashes, and I rubbed my lashes between my finger and my forefinger to kind of loosen up the mascara, and I felt like there were clumps coming off, and sure enough my mascara was coming up and off in these clumps, which is usually indicative of having those fibers inside the mascara, but this wasn't the case. There were no fibers, so it's an interesting formula to me. It doesn't just break down into the smaller runny wet pigment. This actually coats your lashes and kind of creates a barrier so that the mascara, I guess, lasts longer, and it doesn't feel like a waxy type of formula, which is pretty common in a lot of mascaras, to have that wax base and have it be a little bit harder to come off, or if it does come off, it comes off in more of a pigment, which sometimes can be good, sometimes it can be bad. Definitely not what you want to wear to a wedding, for example. But it was an interesting formula, and I don't have anything against it. It was just different for me. I'm not used to that kind of mascara formula, but I do like it. Out of the mascara, all four of these mascaras, I have to say that my favorite is the curling one for me. The curling one held the longest in terms of having curl and having my lashes distinctly combed through, where I felt like I had volume in addition to the curl. So I think this one's my favorite. Each person has different kinds of lashes, so what works for me may not work for you, or vice versa. What works for you may not work for me. My lashes are fairly full, but they are also on the short, stubby type of side. So for me, adding length with slightly hooded eye is kind of a big deal, because I want to be able to have a little bit more oomph and emphasis around my eyes. The mascara does kind of flake off a little bit, so you do have to be careful with that. But the curling one, that one had the longest longevity for me. So I hope this was helpful for everyone. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Stay tuned for more videos and subscribe if you haven't. And stay tuned for Shop My Stash videos, which I'm excited to get back into because I have a ton of makeup and I actually need to use it. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Stay electric.